right, well, the floor is open to you, Shelby. I want to hear, like I said, I traveled a long way to talk to you. I want to know everything and anything you want to tell me about whatever you want to talk about. Where do you want to start?
Well, we're not going to hold it. We know why you're here. It's for the 3 deaths and everything.
Okay.
Correct?
Doesn't show up on our screen.
Good afternoon. I live in West Palm Beach, and I'm calling about a possible welfare check on my father. He lives in Tarpon Springs.
Okay. Where at?
He lives in Tarpon Springs on the
Sit next to that car. What's the address?
It's 1954. Been trying to reach him since just before Christmas, and without any luck. Him and his wife.
What's the name of the person we're going to be checking on?
Richard Ivancic, Ivancic, and his wife's name is Laura.
On January 1st, 2019, Tarpon Springs police responded to a welfare check after concerned family members reported that they hadn't heard from their father in over a week and were unable to reach his wife as well. Upon arriving at the residence, officers were immediately struck by the distinct odor of decomposition coming from inside the manufactured home. When officers entered the home, they discovered a horrifying scene: 3 bodies in an advanced state of decomposition. The bodies had been manipulated after death, with cleaning agents poured over them, and one of the heads appeared to have been doused with paint. After confirming that no one was alive in the residence, officers secured the home as a crime scene and began their investigation. The victims were identified as 71-year-old Richard Ivancic, his 59-year-old wife Laura Ivancic, and their 25-year-old son, Nicholas Ivancic. Detectives quickly began investigating who could have committed such a terrible crime. They noted that Laura Ivancic's 2013 Kia Sorento was missing, suggesting it had been taken by the suspect. Crucial information came from neighbors who reported seeing a man in his 20s digging a shallow hole in front of the trailer home where the murders occurred, with a child standing nearby. The neighbor's description of the man matched that of Shelby Nealy, Richard and Laura's son-in-law. Nealy had also been using the victim's credit cards in nearby Pinellas and Pasco counties, including at local pawn shops, which further helped detectives track his movements. Meanwhile, police identified Jamie Nicole Ivancic, Richard and Laura's 21-year-old daughter, and Nealy's wife, as missing under suspicious circumstances. Initially, she was reported as a missing and endangered person, with fears that she too might be a victim of foul play. Detectives soon discovered that Nealy had fled Florida and traveled to Ohio. Authorities in Lakewood, Ohio, were able to apprehend Nealy after locating him with Laura's stolen vehicle. A detective from the Tarpon Springs Police Department then flew to Ohio to sit down with Shelby Nealy, determined to uncover the full story behind these tragic events.
How you doing, Shelby? Detective Anderson, have a seat. Cold? Yeah, some coffee. I heard you wanted some coffee, so we got you some coffee.
I appreciate it.
Right. I understand you wanted to talk to me?
Yeah. Well, I thought we were going to get this done in the morning and everything. I didn't know.
Would you prefer to talk in the morning? I'm here to, I want to talk to you as soon as possible. I came a long way to talk to you.
Yeah, how late are you here till in the morning?
Well, I'd rather do it now. I traveled a long way in a short amount of time.
I'm doing it, man.
Okay. All right.
I apologize.
That's okay. Hey, like I said, I'm here to listen to you. I want to hear everything you have to say. I don't care if it takes all night. Okay.
Do you think I could possibly get a blanket though?
I can ask you.
I
How much?
hate to ask. I just have bad PTSD with
a
it.
little blanket or anything like that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, they're gonna get you one.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry. I just have
No.
bad PTSD with coldness.
PTSD with coldness?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was homeless for like half a year in the winter of 2015 and 2014.
Oh, really? Where was that at?
Up here in Ohio.
Ooh, babe. What's that supposed to be? Okay. All right. Before we start talking, just one formality. I have to give you this form. Can you read and write?
Mm-hmm.
How far did you go in school?
To 11th grade.
11th grade, so you can read and write.
Yeah.
The English language, you have no issues. You don't need any assistance. You don't need anybody to read it for you. Okay. What I need you to do for me is print your full name. And I need you to read questions 1 through 5 when you get to question 6, initial yes or no.
Mhm.
Question 7, read it, initial yes or no, then your full signature and today's date at the bottom when you're done. Okay?
I don't have to read it out loud, do I?
No,
Okay.
unless you have a question. And hopefully the coffee will warm you up and we'll get you the blanket.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. It's cold. I got off the plane and I said, oh my goodness, it is freezing.
You came up from Florida?
Yes.
I take it? So does that mean I'll be riding with you when we go down?
No.
No.
It is the 4th. All right, then I'll sign the bottom.
Thank you.
Did you give that to Mr.
Yep.
Patty? Okay. All right, well, the floor is open to you, Shelby. I want to hear, like I said, I traveled a long way to talk to you. I want to know everything and anything that you want to tell me about whatever you want to talk about. Okay, and when we get done with that, if I have questions, I'll ask you some questions. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Well, we're not going bullshit. We know why you're here. It's for the 3 deaths and everything.
Okay.
Correct? Okay, well, obviously I did it. I'm trying to think of where I begin this long story.
You want me to ask you a question to get you started?
I mean,
Or do you want to just think about it and you can start wherever you want?
The story kind of like, because I know your questions are basically like, why the fuck did this happen, for obvious reasons. I mean, you know what, why don't you start with questions and I'll just make my way into the story
Okay.
in a second. So
Okay.
go
Well, I want to start way back.
way back.
Childhood. How was your childhood?
Oh, we want to go there. You know, it was a good, man.
Mom and dad both there? Single mom, single
Well,
dad?
My birth father, he was in Texas my whole childhood, but you know, I had a stepdad and he took care of me, and I considered him my dad
Okay.
and everything. I would say I had a relatively good childhood. Really started going downhill when my father killed himself. My birth father.
Okay.
He
How old were you when that happened?
I was 17, and it was the day after my 17th birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible. So every time you think of your birthday, you think of that probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah, so I don't really even celebrate all like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, my childhood was good. Are my kids taken care of? Like, my mom picked them up and everything?
I can ask. I believe they were with the child protection people, but usually I was on a plane, so I can't say exactly where they are. When we're done, I'll find out exactly what you want to know, and then we'll speak to the officers that are from this area,
Okay.
and we can better inform you of exactly their location.
Okay.
Okay.
So last time I checked, my mom was on her way.
Okay. She may have.
Yeah.
Like I said, I literally, Shelby, I got off the plane, and I came
Yeah.
straight here.
Yeah. And I'm
So-
sorry about all this. You know, I didn't want to do any of this shit, man. To be honest with you. I mean, but continue with your questions.
Okay.
We'll get into
So-
bullshit.
So your dad passes away,
Yes.
so then you're with your mom and your stepdad.
Yes.
Okay.
Um.
How was
and
it
then-
growing up? I mean, good?
I mean,
You said it was relatively good childhood?
yeah, childhood was good. I didn't run into problems until literally my early adult life. Like literally as soon as I turned 18.
So when you were a kid, how were you disciplined? There was no like physical abuse, mental abuse?
No. I mean, I would get disciplined like any other kid. I was bad, you know.
Well, everybody has different.
Get ground from my stuff, get my stuff taken away, but you know, I wasn't the easiest of children to deal with either, you know.
Like getting into mischief or?
Yeah, I was very mischievous and rebellious growing up. I also got prescribed ADHD. I just think the rebellion came from like strict rules and everything, like a normal child.
Right. You just didn't like the rules?
Yeah, so I would just break them and everything.
Well, kids go through that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm psychotic or not, but my psychosis didn't really start taking effect till I was like starting to go through stuff. Early adult life, I turned 18. I moved out of my parents' house. You know, I'm still in school. I'm smoking weed and all this shit. I knock up a girl, and then just somewhere down the lines, I drop out of school. We marry, and I don't know, shit was just. I think I just had too much going on my plate back
That's
then.
a lot for a young man to handle.
I just was still dealing with my dad's death and everything, so I started lashing out and hitting her and everything, and the marriage ended.
What was her name?
Her name was Caitlin.
Caitlin?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're on good, just because all that stuff happened back in the past, we're on very good terms now.
Did she have the child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old's that child?
She is 6.
And what's her name?
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead. I didn't interrupt you.
So I went to jail for domestic violence for like a couple of days, and you know that was a real, I would say a wake-up call, but then it really wasn't, because like I started doing criminal stuff, you know, because then I went homeless shortly after that, so I started going into Giant Eagle and stealing my food and everything, and then I would go to jail for that. So really, like 18 and 19 were like my jail days, honestly. Like I was doing not super bad stuff, but you know, not.
Were you doing stuff to survive?
Yeah.
Or were you doing it just because you were bad?
No, I was doing stuff to survive, like
Right.
stealing food. You know, occasionally I would steal fun stuff, because I was homeless and I wanted to have some type of fun. Because I had like a DVD player that I carried and everything, so I would steal some DVDs here and there.
Let me ask you on the homeless part.
Yes.
You said your mom was good. You had a stepdad that cared for you.
Yes.
Did you were homeless by choice? You didn't want to live by rules?
Oh, no.
Or this was after the girlfriend and the baby?
This was after the girlfriend, the baby, the jail. So
Okay.
at this point,
But you
my
couldn't go back
parents
to
don't.
mom's?
Yeah,
Okay.
my parents don't really see a good person at this point.
Okay, I got
So
you.
they're
Now I'm
not
following.
really, they're not really trying to have that around, like under their roof and everything, which is completely understandable. At that point, their son's a teenager. Their other son is a teenager. You know, I was smoking weed and all that stuff. It wasn't an influence they needed. But that homelessness definitely up a little bit.
Okay.
Like I could definitely tell I got PTSD from it.
So how long were you homeless? Approximately
6 months.
6 months. And what changed?
When I met my second wife, which is their mother.
Jamie.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you meet Jamie?
I was a manager at Burger King by this point. Her brother was my employee.
And where is this at? What city and state?
This is Ohio. This is actually up here.
Okay.
Before we all moved down here. Parma,
Okay.
Ohio.
What city in Ohio?
Parma.
Parma. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I went home with him one night and to smoke weed, and she was just sitting there in the garage, and we sort of just hit it off from there.
Okay. So, and like approximately when was that? Like what month, week, year? Do you remember? It doesn't
I
have to
could
be
tell you it
exact.
was 2015. Oh, when I met their mom. Actually, I should be able to.
Yeah, when you met Jamie. Doesn't have to be exact, just approximate.
I want to say around April 2015.
April 2015.
Yes.
Okay. And then was it like one of those love at first sight things?
Yeah,
or
it was very quick.
hot and heavy quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then me, her, and her brother moved down to Florida and shit. And I started dating her and living with her, and that's when shit really started getting bad. You know, everything was cool at first. Occasionally we would argue, and you know, she would, you know, smack me here and there. I was like, you know, it's whatever. It's a woman. They lose control of their emotions. And by this point, of course, you know, this is after the whole domestic violence bullshit. I'm really not trying to hit a woman and all that shit. So, unfortunately, their daughter was very, how do I put it, disrespectful towards rules when living under. Can I get some water? I'm sorry.
Sure. Oh. get some water?
I'm sorry. I know
You're good.
it's difficult.
You're good.
I'm just trying to explain the whole story.
No, like I said, if you need, we got time. I got all the time in the world. Okay.
At least we're not working with a stupid attorney that's going to stop every 2 seconds. I wanted to be cooperative as possible when it came to this.
So he's getting your water.
Mm-hmm.
So when you moved from Ohio, is it just you, Nicholas, and Jamie? The three of you moved down?
Yes.
And you moved
Well, we
to-
actually, she was actually cheating on me with her fiance, and he moved down there, but then he moved back up. But that's besides the point.
Okay.
But yeah, we're down there.
Where were you guys living in Florida?
West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach. Okay. Right down south.
Yeah.
And how did you guys pick that area?
Their dad was living down there
Okay.
way before any of them because the mom and him had gotten into it.
Mm-hmm.
They were arguing a lot due to Jamie. And so basically he just moved down south. As crazy as that is, I never heard of that.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to you and Jamie, like how do you think you're doing as a dad?
How do I think I'm doing as a dad?
Yeah. With your kids.
I think I did pretty damn good as
Yeah.
a dad. Yeah.
What do you think about Jamie as a mother? How do you think she does?
She did not do good.
Can you give me some examples of why she didn't do good?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. She's not alive anymore because of what she tried to do. We're going to get into that.
Okay.
You know, I do apologize that when I first started the conversation, it was kind of hard for me to like piece together how to like tell you that, but you know, we're at a good point now. She passed away. We'll get into this incident, but there was an incident down in Florida where she had an extreme case of psychosis, and I'm sure you can look up all her records and stuff. I'm sure you've seen that she's attacked her parents in the past and all that good shit.
Mm-hmm.
She would get into a mode that she just could not control. When I tell you, it would literally be like looking into the eyes of a demon. It literally was. So she came at my daughter with a knife after she had like got done severely beating me. And there are scars on my body and shit, you know. I'm not giving myself an excuse, man. I'm just telling you the reason as to why shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come at my daughter with a knife, I have to stop you.
Right.
And unfortunately, I went too far. I choked her out, and then when the blood started coming out of her nose, I stopped. But
It was too late.
it was too late.
And where was that at?
This was at a house. This was the last house that we had down in Florida, and this was about a year ago.
So she's been deceased for a year.
Yes.
Okay, was that in West Palm?
No, this was in close to Tarpon Springs.
Pasco?
Newport Richey.
Newport Richey.
Pasco.
Do you remember the address?
Dude. I know it's Norwood Avenue.
Okay.
As for the exact number, I do not remember.
Okay. Do you remember?
I could point out the house to you.
Okay. Do you remember the color of the house?
Yes, it was white.
White house.
It was, you turn on the road, it was the third or the fourth house on the left.
Okay.
It'll be a driveway where it's a strange driveway where it like does that.
And
Turns around and
okay, so it's like a half moon driveway.
Yes.
White house. Do you remember the trim? Was there like any trim, shutter trim, or paint
I
trim?
think it was like a blue shutter trim.
Okay.
Like I said, I could point out the house if need be.
So you choke her out. You see blood. You let off of her, but she's already deceased.
Yes.
Where is she now?
I buried her in that backyard.
She's in the backyard of that home.
Yes, buried.
Okay. In the backyard, if I gave you a piece of paper and you could just like draw a rough map, could you draw like a rough map of where she would be in the backyard?
I can point it out to you.
Okay.
Just because I don't know how long it's, I haven't gone there and visited or anything. There could
Okay.
be grass.
Right,
and
just-
everything.
What I was gonna say was like, Shelby, if you could do like, we'll just draw, like have you draw like a square representing the house and then a backyard and then like a rough estimate of where you remember it being.
Yeah, because I just want to help you guys
Yeah.
at this point, man. Alright, so house.
And you can draw big if you need to, you got the whole piece of paper.
Yeah, I just suck at drawing.
Yeah, so do I. I draw stick figures, so.
Alright, so say this is like the little deck that you walk in on.
Okay.
You turn immediately right and like walk 5 steps out and she should be buried right there.
Okay. Now
So
I'm just gonna do some writing on here, okay?
Go ahead.
So, you tell me if I'm wrong at any time, okay? So this is Norwood Avenue,
Yes.
correct? This is the front
Yes.
of house. Okay. And there's some kind of a wooden deck off the back.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm just gonna draw an arrow, wooden deck. And then
To the right.
5 paces to the right.
To the right. Outside the deck, yes.
Okay. And you may not remember. Do you remember how deep it was?
It's way deeper than that stupid hole I dug up earlier.
Deeper than the one you dug at the other house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way deeper. Probably like double that.
So 5 feet estimate?
I would
5
say
feet?
so.
Okay. Okay. Did anybody ever ask you where she was?
Oh yeah. I mean, I lied.
Well, I mean, I obviously you're gonna lie, something like that has happened, but I'm like, who asks you where she is? Like, doesn't Nick go, hey, where's my sister? Or her parents call you? Or
Well, yeah. And thankfully, I knew her so well. I knew how to act like her. It was weird, man. They never talked to her over the phone or anything. I would just act like her. I was on text message and everything. Sometimes I would act angry at the parents and all this stuff, but I would just feel bad. So I would like send them pictures and everything of the kids because like they were persistent. And of course, everybody else, because I left Florida immediately.
after that?
Yeah.
Let me, and I don't think I asked this.
Go ahead.
Approximately, what was the date that this occurred?
It literally happened around a year last year ago. Like,
Approximately a year ago,
Like literally in the beginning of 2018, like January.
January of 2018.
Yes, like I was gone by the end of 2018, or not by the end of January. I'm sorry.
Okay. So do you remember the beginning of January? End of January?
It was definitely middle of January.
Middle of January of 2018 on Norwood Avenue in Newport Richey.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's fast forward. And is there? Well, let me stop. Is there anything else that you want to discuss about that incident? Do you think is important, or do you want to get off your chest? Or,
No, I mean, this is the type of shit she did to me. She
what was that from?
she-
Fingernails, a knife, or
This was a knife. This was a hammer.
that the mark right here?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Did you ever call the police on her
The police were called on her multiple times
in Newport Richey, or where?
in just in Florida and Ohio, man. But I was just under her control, man. Like, I know I come across as the evil one, and quite honestly, I am. I'm a monster for the shit I did. But unfortunately, there's a reason for the shit that I did. She would go in jail. Her parents would lie for her. She would come out. She would go into the psych ward. Her parents would lie for her. She would come out. I would lie for her because I was under her control.
Now, when you say she was like the psychosis that you described, was she seeing a doctor or a psychologist?
She refused to.
Refused to? Was she on any meds?
She refused to be on any meds.
So
She thought that she didn't need any help.
during the duration that you knew her, she never went to a doctor that you know of for her mental issues?
We tried to get her there, but she just did not like what the doctors had to say, and so she'd be like, "I'm not going there anymore."
Okay.
It was, every day my kids saw a woman beating on their dad, and I just didn't want that life for them.
Oh, I know what I didn't ask you. And when this occurred, when you choked her
Uh-huh.
and she passed away,
Yeah.
what room of the house were you in?
What room of the house?
Yeah, where were you in the house when it happened?
Living room.
The living room?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that she was coming at your daughter, Bella, correct?
Mhm.
And she had what did she have?
She had the knife.
Butcher knife? So you're saying was it like raised up? Like she
Yeah,
was gonna-
no, dude, she was coming at her. You
Yeah.
don't understand. When she gets into those modes, I've seen her mom get in front of her, and she smacked her mom like it was nothing.
Mhm.
Like, she had schizophrenia, bipolar, and
Undiagnosed, right? That's what you think she had? Or
No,
was
it
it
was
diagnosed?
diagnosed.
It was diagnosed.
it was
Okay.
diagnosed.
Okay.
She was, during her childhood, she was seeing nothing but psychiatric doctors, and especially in her teenage years, because she was a wild child. Her parents would let her stay out till whenever. She would come home at 6 o'clock in the morning. She told me she did 30 hits of acid in the course of 2 months, which is insane. It's like,
Okay. You remember the time of day it was, or was it at night when it happened?
it was midday.
Midday. When you said you intervened,
Mhm.
were you injured at all during that episode?
Yeah, that's what that's from.
So the scar on your right forearm that you're showing me about mid forearm,
Mhm.
that was from the incident,
Mhm.
January 2018,
Mhm.
from Jamie when you intervened. You
Mhm.
got cut with a knife,
Mhm.
and then you.
Well,
choked.
this was before the intervention. She had already beat me up. I was already cut up and
Right,
everything.
but I'm
That
saying
was-
on the night that you killed her.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah,
did you get injured that night?
yes. This
So
is from that.
when you intervened between her coming at your daughter with the knife, you sustained that injury.
Mhm.
Okay, in the living room of the home in Newport Richards.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you leave Pasco County. Where do you go to with the kids?
Ohio.
You go back to Ohio,
Yes.
and you stay with who?
I stay with myself.
Stay with yourself.
Yeah, I had some money. I threw down on a place. Sorry, I'm just readjusting myself.
You're fine. I know those aren't the most comfortable things.
They're fine. I buy a place in Elyria. I tried to make it work. I even got a job and everything, but people just weren't babysitting my kids. And babysitting was hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, during that time period, I was afraid to get on welfare because it's like they're going to be looking for
Mom.
They're going to be like, where's mom? And then, so I left there for like a couple of months. And then I can't make it. My parents can't help me because my brother has cancer at this point. He beat it though.
Okay, well, that's good.
So I have to move to Texas to where all my other family is at. So I did that for like half a year, I believe.
Who did you stay with in Texas?
I stayed with my granny for the most part. And then me and her got into it.
What's her name?
Oh shit. Deborah Gray.
Deborah Gray. Okay. She's still living?
Yeah, she's alive.
Okay.
Then she kicked me out because she couldn't handle the kids. But I was working a good job. I was working in the oil field for a while there. And then I get another place. And I'm working and everything. I'm still trying to shake off Jamie's family for the most part, and it's just.
Are they pestering you? Like, where is she? We haven't seen her.
No, it's not even that.
You're still doing the texting like you're her.
Yeah.
But did she have her own phone and you had your own phone, or did you guys only have one phone that you shared?
We only had one phone.
Okay, because I was thinking to myself, like, you had to keep paying the bill to keep playing like you were her.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
so you shared a phone and you just pretended to be her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't really call it sharing a phone. It was mostly hers, but yeah, that's how that happened.
Okay. So Granny says you need to go.
Yeah, I get my own place, and then I had my own place for like another 3 months, so we're getting towards the end of the year, and unfortunately now I'm seeing something has to be done because I don't want to get caught, and I basically go down to Florida. I do that.
Okay. Well, let's back up because
Yeah.
we need to be as specific as possible. You're doing awesome. Okay. At what point in time, what month was it like a spur of the moment thing? I'm going to Florida, or were you like devising a plan? Like, I need to go to Florida.
It was more of a spur on the moment thing. Like.
So what day of? I'm assuming it's December.
Well,
right?
it actually worked like this because I was going to lose my place too because I couldn't hold my job because I was running into the whole babysitting
Childcare again.
And so I think I just got into a mode of panic, to be honest with you, because that was the first real time that I didn't know how I was going to keep shit together and everything.
Right. So what at that point in time, what kind of
also on top of it, I had told her that we were coming down there to vacation to like kind of hold her off and everything, and now that's
and you say you mean Laura?
Yes.
So you call. Did you speak to her, or was it a text message?
Text message.
So through text message, you tell Laura in Florida, hey, did you imply that Jamie was coming, or did you say me and the kids?
I implied that Jamie was coming.
Okay. So I'm sure she was excited, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that about? Do you remember the date that you initiated the contact and saying you were coming to Florida?
I want to say August.
Oh, way back in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because now, granted, I had no intention of going down there.
Right.
I was just trying to hold her off, and then I was going to be like, we're busy with work, this and that. And unfortunately, I lost my place by the time that time period came up. And I don't know. I was afraid I was going to get caught. You know, it was coming up on a year that she was dead and everything. I just wanted to. This is going to sound ridiculous, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to make sure my kids were okay, you know?
So were you worried that they were going to try to take them from you?
I was worried that they were going to try to take them from me. I was worried that, honestly, no offense to them, they were great people, and I did care about them and love them greatly. I did. I actually got along with her more than my own mother,
right?
Which is sad. You know, I didn't want to do this shit, man. I didn't want to do any of this shit. But they just don't know how to raise kids, man. Like, flat out.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. So you initiate conversation with Laura.
Mm-hmm.
August. When do you leave Texas and drive to Florida? What date?
I can tell you it's in the beginning of December. As far as the exact datage, I would have to go through my phone to be able to tell you that.
Okay. Like, in relation to Christmas, how many weeks prior to Christmas do you think you got to Florida?
It was definitely like beginning of December.
Beginning of December, you drive from Texas to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What are you driving?
Her old car that I had.
Jamie's old car?
Yes.
Is it a Hyundai?
Yes.
Do you remember what color?
Silver.
Silver Hyundai Elantra?
Yes.
And what, does that Texas tags, Florida tags?
Florida tags.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that car at now?
It's actually parked at the Meadows.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, is it by the clubhouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a silver Hyundai Elantra, four-door, you remember the year?
2010.
2010 silver Hyundai Elantra with Florida tags, parked at the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're not sure the exact date. In December. Beginning to mid December?
No, it was beginning.
Beginning in December. You pack up the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Pack up, I'm assuming, the stuff you're taking with you because you're leaving everything else behind, right? You drive to Florida.
Mhm.
Does she know you're coming, or you just kind of show up?
No, she knows I'm coming.
She knows you're coming.
However, she thinks that Jamie is staying behind due to work issues and everything.
Okay, okay. So you arrive.
Mhm.
How's it go?
It goes great at first. I kept putting off killing them. If I'm going to talk about this moment, we're going to talk about it. I put off killing them, and I tried to look for every alternative not to do it. And of course, I didn't have to do it. There was no reason for me to do all this, but I felt bad. I kept putting it off. They were enjoying time with their grandkids, and
At what point in time did you decide I have to kill them? Was it when you were driving there?
No. I fought with it literally up until I did it.
Okay, so when was your first thought of, I need to kill them?
Oh, it was definitely on my way there.
While you're driving there,
Yeah.
you're thinking to myself, I need to kill them.
Yeah, if I'm going to survive and raise these kids and not get caught. And then I get there.
Because they pose a threat to what you believe was a threat to your custody of your children.
Yeah, well, not even their custody. Me getting caught, and I didn't want them raising my kids. Like I said, they don't know how to raise kids. And I hate to say that, but they're very great people. The kids that they raised did not come out good at all.
Right.
Jamie was prime example. Nick, he was just, he wasn't even a person. He was just there, just living. He just sat there, played video games, went to work.
Okay. So you
Sorry,
I
know I keep getting off track.
No, you're doing great, man.
It's just this shit's hard for me, man.
You're doing great. You're doing great. While we're in the steps, I'm trying to get stuff. I don't want to forget things.
Of course.
And I kind of want to try to, as sequential order as we can, so we're not jumping around. You know what I mean?
If I'm being honest with you, we've been doing awesome on the order.
Okay.
As far as time and everything, as far as chronological order.
Okay.
We've been doing very good.
Okay.
So
you get to Florida. Do you keep your car at the clubhouse all the time?
No, it was parked in their driveway.
It was parked in their driveway a couple times? Okay. So you get there. Where are you sleeping?
I'm sleeping in that first room on the right.
First room on the right.
I know you've been in the house.
Yes, I have.
The first room on
First room on the right. Okay. Where are the kids sleeping? Are they sleeping on the couches?
No, they were sleeping in there with me.
Sleeping in the bed with you.
Mhm.
Okay. So go from there. You get there. You said everything was going great at first, right?
Yeah, by the way, also what made things easier to not be able to talk on the phone with them, for Jamie not to be able to talk on the phone with them, there was a debt collector from the old house, because, the old house got trashed. I kind of trashed it to, make them not really, think that there was a dead body there,
Try to throw them off.
Yeah, I was trying to be intelligent. It was the most unintelligent thing you can do.
Well, while we're talking about that, when you put her in the grave, you cover it, did you do anything to disguise the top of the grave, put leaves over it or anything? Because I've seen, you look at the backyard, you don't want to see this fresh pile of dirt.
Yeah, no, I put something over it. It was we had a bunch of these wooden, oh god damn it, what are they fucking called? Not wooden planks, but basically there was a bunch of shit that could have been used for construction in our backyard that I put over.
Just laid it over the top of it. What did you do with the excess dirt? Just spread it around the yard, or?
Oh, I just put it all in the grave. It all fit in there. And then I just smoothed it out and then put stuff over it.
Okay. All right. So fast forward, we're back to your Tarpon Springs. Your kids are staying in the bedroom with you. You go down the hall, first door on the right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm there for probably a good 2 weeks before I kill them, though. Unfortunately, I almost got out of it too, because with the step, I acted like this debt collector, had a undercover agent that you can buy or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. But basically, I made it seem like that this debt collector knew where Jamie was at if she were to enter Florida. So then at the end, they were like, well, we could just come to Texas with you and visit her. And then on that day,
So is that when you decided I have to kill them
Yeah.
because they're getting too inquisitive? Is that why?
Now they weren't even inquisitive, man. They were always trusting of me.
And do you remember what the date was?
December 15th and December 16th.
December 15th and December 16th is when you killed them?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember?
The
Okay.
parents, go ahead.
No, I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
Um,
You said the parents.
the parents passed away first, and then I dragged their bodies into their room, cleaned it up, waited for Nick to get home, spent one last night with Nick, and then when he went to bed, I killed him too.
Okay.
Basically, tried to make it to where they didn't see it coming in. They didn't feel any pain.
Okay.
That was my
Okay.
main
So
concern.
you're saying the 15th going into the 16th, correct?
Mhm.
So it's late at night.
Well, they died at like 1 and 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I take their bodies, I clean up the mess. Nick comes home around 5 or 6. We hang out and everything. Nighttime comes, he goes to sleep, and then I get him.
Okay. I just want to get it, like I said, I just need details. Okay, so 1 or 2 in the afternoon, you're there with the kids. Okay. Where's Rich and where's Laura?
All right, so
Like who do you
Laura.
go to first and then second and
Laura goes to the store, Nick's at work, and that's the perfect time to get Richard. So he's got his back to me.
where's he at?
He's in the. You enter the house, you go to the left, that dining room type area.
Correct. Is
That was
where
blocked off by the couch and everything.
Yes.
Um,
Where you had the kids' toys set up
yeah.
in there. Okay.
Yeah, that's where he passed away.
Okay. And you said you didn't want him to see it coming.
Yes.
What did you hit him with?
A hammer.
A hammer?
Yes.
Okay.
And I basically killed him with it.
So when you say where's the first place you struck him with the hammer?
In the back of the head.
Back of the head, like right in the middle of the back of the head. You
Yeah.
just came up behind him and
Yeah.
hit him. Does he fall?
Yes, he falls.
Just falls to his knees or
No, he's unconscious. And then,
one shot he's out?
Well, he's
Unconscious.
unconscious. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I whack him again a couple of times on the head to give him a quick death.
You remember where on the head?
No, because if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't trying to commit the act in the first place, so I'm not really trying to look. I know I definitely got him right here,
Mm-hmm.
but all I really did was bash him a couple of times and then walk away.
Okay.
And then he passed away.
Did you hear him still breathing or?
When I did, I would go over there and whack him just to try to get him to be done because I didn't want him to suffer anymore.
So after you hit him the first couple times, you walk away,
Mhm.
and I just don't want to put words in your mouth. You hear him, so you go back and you hit him a couple more times?
Yes,
Okay. And how many times did you have to keep going back?
that was the only one time that I had to go back.
Okay, so if you had to guesstimate how many times you struck him with a hammer, what would you think?
I would say 5 to 7 times.
5 to 7 times. And it's right in the area by where your kids' toys were at.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are Bella and Oliver at when this is happening?
They're in the room.
They're in the
Yeah.
bedroom you were staring at with the door closed.
Yes.
Okay. Did they come out?
No, they can't open doors or anything.
They can't open doors.
No.
Okay.
No, I had the room completely baby-proof for them, so they were safe. They never saw anything of that sort. I always kept them away from that because
You said that was the 15th into the 16th, right?
yes,
So 15th at 1 to 2, Rich, right?
I would say yes.
Okay. Laura comes home from, okay, so Rich goes down, you know for a fact you've killed him.
Yes.
What do you do next? I know you said you drug him, but how do you drag him? He's a big guy.
Oh yeah, he definitely was. I had to use that carpet. However,
where was that carpet located?
It was right underneath him when it happened.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
However, I waited until the mom got home to move.
So you left him there on the rug until mom comes home?
Yeah.
Now when she comes home, does she come in through the front door, that sliding door?
She comes in through the front door.
Through the front door.
They never came in through the sliding door.
Okay.
I don't know if that's important or not. Information for you, but.
So where are you at when she comes in the front door?
Oh, I welcome her and everything, and then she's walking towards the kitchen, and then I get her before she sees anything coming.
So she never saw her husband laying there?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So was she carrying groceries?
She was carrying coffee.
Carrying coffee?
Yeah, which was sad.
Okay, so she's carrying coffee. You greet her at the door.
Yeah, and
She
then
starts
walking towards the kitchen. Still
Okay.
doesn't notice her husband.
Okay.
And then I basically take her out before she can notice anything.
Okay, and where do you hit her?
Same place.
Back of the head?
Yes.
Okay. She drops immediately?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then.
So she's in the same room with her husband?
No, she's in a different room.
Okay, where?
She is in the living room, walking towards the kitchen.
Kitchen?
He's in the dining room.
Okay.
Towards the left and everything. Like I said, I don't know how she did not see him when.
So she basically walked pretty much right by him, from what you're saying?
No, she did not walk by him.
No.
Like I said, I don't know. Do you remember the layout of the
Huh?
house?
If you want, you can draw. We'll give you another thing, and you can draw.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to make it.
Yeah. Just draw it bigger scale. I know you said your drawing's not good. I don't care. We're not here for our class, so.
Yeah. All right. So, front door.
You want just right underneath there, just right front door. That way, when I look at it later, I'll know what you.
And then this is where he would be at.
Right, just right underneath it, Rich, for me.
Here's, of course, couch. TV. And then she walks. She's walking towards there. I stop her right here.
Okay. So you hit her in the back of the head. She drops.
Yeah.
How many more times do you hit her?
I would definitely say I hit her a good 4 to 5 times because after dealing with Rich, I saw that,
You want to make sure.
yeah, I want to make sure that you're dead and not suffering because that, I know it's fucked up, but that was the last thing I wanted was for them to suffer.
You said they were good people.
Yeah.
They did very. You said they didn't deserve what they got, right? Where did you get the hammer from?
No.
Was it in their shed?
It was in one of the drawers,
Like a junk drawer in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So she's on the ground. They're both deceased.
Mhm.
What time do you think it was that you get her?
She was like literally in the 2 p.m. range.
Okay. So approximately an hour later, you get her.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're both down.
Drag both of them.
Which one do you drag first?
Definitely Rich.
Rich. He's on the area rug.
Yeah.
So you tell me. You got to tell me how you did it because he's a pretty big dude, and I'm not taking this offense. You're not near as big as he is.
Oh yeah,
That's gotta. You had to busted your ass to get him back there.
God, did I ever?
Yeah. How long did it take you to get him from there down the hall and into the room?
Dude, honestly, only 5 minutes.
Probably your adrenaline through the roof, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be like, do you know when Nick's coming home, or is it like, oh shit, I got to get going. Nick could come home. I got to get them out of the way.
At that point, I didn't know when Nick was coming home. So you're right. Definitely adrenaline played a big part into it. I think moving him. But yeah, I got him out of there in 5 minutes, and then I moved her in there, and then I cleaned up all the blood with the mop and everything. And he didn't notice anything when he got home. I finally did get a hold of him.
Where was and how did you get Laura into the bathroom?
There was another rug
Mhm.
that was close to her. I threw a towel on her. Sorry, I'm fine. And then I put her on the rug, and then I dragged the rug.
Okay, but you brought Rich first.
Yes.
How did you get her past Rich? Because he was, from my recollection, he's laying on his back
Yeah.
with the rug covering him in the doorway. You have to pass the doorway to get into the bathroom.
I'm sorry. I think I brought her in first.
Okay. That's why I'm asking these questions, because you could have done it, but I want to make sure we're right on the order, because for you to get her over the top of him would have been a pretty good feat.
Yeah.
So
no, that would not.
Now that you think about it, you're positive you drug her back first.
Yes, she got drugged back first.
Okay.
I apologize.
Okay, so you get both of them on their area rugs into the room, close the door. You just chill with the kids until Nick comes home?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What
of
time
course,
are you
everything. It's like 6 or 7 when he gets home.
And was he at work?
Yeah, he was at work.
What does he do for work? I never found out what he did for work.
I think it was HVAC. Something
HVAC, like air conditioning stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets home.
Could we take a pause real quick?
Sure.
I need to use the bathroom.
Actually, definitely. Let me get one of the detectives to take you to the restroom. And I'm just going to clarify this, because now when you say Rich was over here in the dining room area, are we talking about like
towards that sliding door?
Right, the sliding doors here, there's the couch, because I saw a lot of blood stains on the couch.
Couch wasn't moved at that point.
I understand that, but is the blood staining that's on the couch from you striking him? Does he fall against the couch?
That's
there's-
from Nick.
That's from Nick.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so Dad falls there, nothing gets on that, you mop up the floor.
Yeah, the couch was right here at that point. It's not moved over there or anything. I moved it over there during the process that I stay there.
Okay.
Nick was asleep on the couch when I killed him, so that's where all the blood stains on the couch come from.
Okay.
And then I moved the couch to block off that room, so the kids don't run in there.
All right, now we're cooking, because I was completely, when I was in the house, I kept saying to myself, why does that couch block the doorway? Why would they, I'm not an interior designer, but you're blocking an access way to, it just doesn't seem, so okay.
Yeah,
so
that was all for the kids, so they wouldn't run in there and everything.
Gotcha, okay.
Because even though it was like cleaned in there and everything, like, I don't know, I'm still, I didn't want them anywhere near that type of shit.
Understandable. I mean, you don't want your kids to see that kind of thing. Okay, so let's backpedal a little bit. So, just to clarify, they're both down. You killed both of them. We dragged Laura
Yes.
into the bathroom.
Yes.
Rich dragged into the bedroom.
Mhm.
We closed the door. Where are the dogs?
I put the dogs in there.
Were they still alive?
Yes. Dogs don't die until like literally the last minute. And,
Like before you leave?
yeah.
Okay. So you just closed the dogs in there with the two
Mhm.
that you just killed.
Mhm.
Okay. You're playing with the kids until 5 or 6 when Nick comes home.
Yeah.
Okay. You said you wanted to spend one last night with Nick.
Yeah.
But you said you have to kill him because obviously you killed his parents.
Yes.
Okay. So he comes home. Tell me what happens when he comes home.
He comes home, he brings some weed and everything. He's got edibles and all that stuff. I start giving him money and shit. I order us a pizza. I get us more weed. That type of stuff.
How did you get more weed?
Huh?
How did you get more weed?
Oh, he went to the dealer to get some more and everything.
Did you do it with him?
No, I stayed home.
Okay. And he has a car, right? A minivan?
Yeah.
Where's his minivan?
Minivan's parked in that driveway. That's his minivan.
The blue one that's there is his minivan.
Yes.
Because I talked to a bunch of people and they kept saying, no, that's not his minivan. And he drives a dark minivan, dark colored minivan. They kept saying this dark colored minivan. We couldn't find this dark colored minivan.
Old people are idiots sometimes, to be honest with you.
So that
they
minivan.
think they noticed something. Yeah.
Okay, so that minivan that's still at the house is Nick's. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I interrupted you. Nick comes home. You guys are smoking weed, eating edible marijuana together. Just, you guys have been friends for a long time. You want to spend one last night with him. So go ahead.
There's nothing much more to it.
What time so I'm assuming you guys are watching TV together and he falls asleep at some point. You're kind of waiting for him to fall asleep.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm assuming I have to kill him tonight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're watching TV, he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Where are you at when he falls asleep on that couch with all the blood stains? But it's at that point in time. It's
here's
there.
how it happened. We're watching The Grinch and everything. He gets tired. He goes to sleep. I put the kids in the room. I wait until I think he's asleep. I fall asleep myself. And then I wake up at like 3, 4 in the morning. And then I grab the hammer. I tiptoe to him. And then I do what I did to them. You know, I don't like saying it, but I do what I did to them.
Same thing, same hammer.
Yeah.
So the same hammer you killed you used the same hammer to kill all 3 of them.
Yes.
So he's asleep. I know it's hard to say, but we're almost there. You've gotten through 2.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
I know.
So you go up to Nick, and then what happens?
I crack him right here.
In the temple?
Yeah, and then I just keep hitting, like 7 to 8 times.
Is it any time does he wake up, or?
He like jolted awake at first, I think, but his body was in too much shock to like really process what happened.
Right, like he never like opened his eyes or said anything or anything like that.
No, none of that ever happened. I made sure that they, except with him, unfortunately, I made sure that they didn't feel any pain. They basically died instantaneously.
Okay.
Besides him.
So you kill him on the couch. Okay. Then what do you do with his body?
I take it into his room.
Did you put him on anything, or do you just dry him?
I covered up his head and everything. Granted, I did it in the dark, and for some reason, I knew that I hit him up the most out of everybody, and I don't know how.
And how did you know that? Just from the facial damage that you saw?
I didn't see any facial damage.
You said you knew you f***ed him up the most, so I was assuming that you saw the damage.
No, because blood went everywhere. And that was
as you're hitting him, blood's going everywhere.
Yeah, that was the first time that happened. So.
Okay. So when you hit the other 2, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't a splatter ray.
Okay.
Him, it was. And then I have some towels underneath, or a blanket or something. It was a blanket. It was a blanket I had.
Is that the orange and black one?
I think so. Whichever one that he was on.
Okay.
Everything. I take him and I drag him into his room. And then I clean up the area. And then my kids wake up and...
So you clean up the area, you mop it all.
Yeah.
You move the couch from the wall.
Yeah.
By the door.
Mm-hmm.
Over to by where you took Rich out.
Yeah.
Okay. Blocking that entryway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you close the doors, and you said yourself your kids can't open the doors.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is if I'm you is, holy shit, I don't want my kids opening the doors and seeing dead people.
Yeah, I know. That's why I made sure that they could get out. Yeah. Trust me, my kids are my number 1 priority.
I believe you wholeheartedly. For someone to do something of this extent to protect their kids, I'm not saying it's right. And I know you know it's not right? You know right from wrong, right? You know what you did was wrong. But at the time, I think maybe you thought you didn't have any other options, right?
Exactly.
You were pretty much out of gas, right? Out of options. Okay. So that's the 15th and the 16th, correct?
They pass away on the 15th, and he passes away on the 16th.
16th, and then like in the middle of the night, whenever you wake up, do you remember what time it was? I think you said
it was 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. You remember it being 4 o'clock in the morning? Did you just like see the cable box, or?
Yeah, I looked at the time. I'm like, I'm an idiot. And then I took care of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give you time of death for most of them.
Yeah, you want to write it? You can write it right next to their names.
I know. He's 1 p.m.
If you want, you can write the date underneath it too. So 12/15.
Sorry, they were important, and I'm the only one who knows their time of death.
No, that is. It's very, like I said, the sequence of events are very important, and I'm glad you know that. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably very surprised with my cooperation too.
I've been doing this a long time, and
Not really.
you never know.
Well, you live in the crazy state too.
The crazy state? You call Florida the crazy state?
Hell yeah.
You know who else called it the crazy state? My mother-in-law.
Oh,
She's from Michigan.
Oh, well, that's why.
And she says all the time, all the crazy stuff happens in Florida.
I mean, I'm a prime example, man.
You're prime example. Okay, so, all right, so they're put into the rooms, doors are closed. Kids wake up the next day,
Everything's fine.
business as usual, right? And I'm assuming you don't let them go past the kitchen area.
Of course not. No.
Okay.
The kitchen was blocked off too.
Okay. Now, I don't know if it's you or Nick, but somebody is a fan of the drink that I love, Bang energy drinks. Is that you?
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere.
If you want. Because I'm going to be in jail, obviously. In my house, I got like 3 cases of them bitches.
Yeah.
Cotton candy, sour head, and more cotton candy.
Yeah, those are your favorites?
Yeah, so if you want them, go ahead, man.
No, unfortunately I can't do that, but where were you buying those at? Were you buying them at the 7-Eleven around the corner?
Yeah.
You go in there like every day?
And then I'm like, dude, you guys got the cases for sale?
Yeah.
And he did. Man, those things work. Is that what you, oh no, you got the red.
They didn't have anything at the store. I stopped at the 7-Eleven on the way here.
Yeah, dude, it's so hard to
And
find.
I was like, yeah, they didn't have it. So I had to settle for Red Bull, but I had to get something. So basically, I'm sure they like knew every morning you came. Did you go there at the same time every day with the kids?
No. When I bought the case, that was like probably literally the day that this happened. Because I wasn't really trying to go out all like that anymore. You know, I had to figure out what to do with 3 bottles.
So when you wake up that next morning would be the 16th. You take the kids, you go to the 7-Eleven, you bought the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you come back.
Well, I wouldn't say I made the specific trip to do that. I did go grocery shopping at Walmart to get myself a couple of things to like help shit be easier for me. Like I grabbed spray paint to like spray the walls and everything to get the blood off.
The Krylon.
Yeah,
Like which Walmart? The one in Tarpon Springs? Or
yeah.
did you go to a different one?
Tarpon Springs.
And do you remember what the date was?
I would say the 16th.
16th. You went to the Walmart in Tarpon.
Mm.
Okay. Let me just write that down. Do you remember approximate time?
Unfortunately, I do not.
That's fine.
That's
Afternoon, evening, whatever.
Afternoon was definitely where it.
Okay. And you had both the kids.
Yes.
Is that the only thing you bought for the like cleaning up? Was the Krylon?
I bought.
Because I know. Fast forward just a little bit, and I know you'll tell me because you're being completely cooperative. I know you went to the Home Depot in Port Richey, and you bought the tarps and the rope.
Oh yeah.
And what would
that was basically to put their bodies in, tie up, and put in the backyard or the front.
where
yard.
you were digging the trench?
Yeah.
Okay. What day did you start digging the trench? If you killed them on the 15th and 16th, what day do you think it was you started digging the trench?
I would say a week later.
A week later?
Yeah. Definitely say a week later.
So you're staying in the house with them deceased and with your kids from the 15th and 16th until approximately a week later.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming it's got to start smelling by then.
Well, yeah, I bought shit to help with the smell too. Incense was always going on. I had those Febreze things. I had like car shit. Kids were no longer sleeping in their room. They were like sleeping out there.
On those little love seats.
Yeah. There was another couch too, that dark brown couch
Mm-hmm.
that they would sleep on too.
Okay.
But yeah, they couldn't get buried. I couldn't move Rich.
So you start digging the trench. I mean, you made a lot of progress on that trench.
Yeah.
I mean, how many hours do you think you worked on that? Because that's a lot of work.
It only took me like 2 hours.
2 hours to dig that, and it's the shovels.
That was me being paranoid.
That was you on adrenaline and bang, and I got to get this done. I got to get these people buried, and I got to get out of here.
No, that was me going like, these people are definitely going to get sketched out here pretty soon by me digging this hole.
Right.
So I would go out and dig it little bits at a time.
Oh, okay.
Act like I was doing yard work.
Did you ever have contact with anybody? Like go by, going like,
Yeah, I did. I simply said that the bushes had been all dug up, over there, and that they were going to start putting like trees or something that I didn't know.
And I know, what about property that was in the house? We found pawns for you. Did you take a bunch? Did Nick have like an Xbox?
Yes.
And did he have a lot of games?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do with the Xbox?
I switched it out for the PS4.
We switched it out.
Yeah, you can so you can go to like GameStop and like exchange your system for another system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So you did that with GameStop. Which GameStop did you go to?
I was up here, and I actually had.
So you brought the Xbox with you up here.
Yes.
Okay. What about all the games? Did you pawn
Yes.
a bunch of the games?
Oh,
Or sold them, I guess?
traded them. Yeah.
And that was the GameStop in Florida, though.
Yes.
Correct. What did you trade them for?
I'm sorry, that was not the GameStop in Florida. I'm sorry, I'm getting you all confused on this. So system and games get brought up.
Okay.
I don't go exchange it myself. My dude Thomas does. The one that owns the house and
Mhm.
everything that I live with. That's who did it. Because there was just one night where I was, it has like all his information on there, and I didn't want Thomas to.
It has all of Nick's information, like his Microsoft account.
Yeah.
The reason I know is my son plays Fortnite and has an Xbox. And
Yeah.
I just set it up for him, so
Yeah.
you didn't want it to be connected to you with his Microsoft account information.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was like, it's time to get rid of that.
But your new roommate had no idea, right?
No.
You had never told him,
No.
obviously, any of this.
Do you mind if I ask you something?
Sure.
Since I'm being cooperative,
Mhm.
I'm just interested. Where did I up with the car? Like, how did you guys catch up to me? Was it the car that got me? I mean, I know I left it behind a bunch. I'm just curious.
There's a lot of things. There was no real one thing. There was a lot of things. I mean, you did things I think you may have thought you were doing them carefully, but you didn't.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into specifics.
Don't give me specifics. There's no reason to.
Yeah. I will say this. There wasn't one thing. So you can't beat yourself up over like, man, if I'd have just done that one thing, you did a lot.
Okay.
It was traceable.
Okay.
Okay. So, what else do you take from the house?
His coin collection.
His coin collection.
This
So
is on top of the fridge.
on top of the fridge where you live now.
Yes.
Okay. And what about IDs,
Yes.
driver's licenses?
Yeah, I took that.
From who?
Rich and Nick. I could not find Laura's.
You looked for it, but you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And what was the purpose of that?
Honestly, I know this company called Live Ops where you can work at home, but you gotta have a clean record. So that's what I was going to use that for.
You're going to use Nick's identity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Rich? Why did you take his?
Just to not leave behind evidence. It wasn't really the smartest thing to do, to be honest with you. I know you're trying to find a comprehensible reason as to why, but
Right. Well, like I said, I'm trying to understand your mindset, what's going through your head, why you would do things. And so the coin collection
was to get money, obviously.
Right.
So I can.
And there was like sheets of money too, right?
Yeah, you'll see the sheet of money in there.
So there's a sheet of money, collectible coins.
And the suitcase. Here. Want me to write it all down for you?
Sure. Yeah, right. You can write down everything you took from the house. And where you just write down what you took and where it is now.
Oh, my kids did go with my mom.
Outstanding. That's good. And I know in Florida we always try to reunite the kids with family members because we don't want them to go with child protective services if they don't need to.
That's all I care about is their safety, man. That's all I can think of so far.
Okay. You can
It's also like 2:13 in the morning, so if I think of something else.
Yeah, definitely. If you think I'll keep the notepad right here. You think of something, you let me know. I'll slide it over to you. All right? Sound like a deal? All right. Actually, if you want, here, I'll just keep it right in front of you, and I'll just keep asking you questions.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got everything that I want to explain.
All right.
Explain for the most part.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you a couple more questions? Because I've got a couple that everybody that's involved in this wants to know. What is going on with the paint?
Oh, you mean on the bodies?
The paint that's poured all over them and it's slung all over the walls and there's egg on the walls. What happened there?
Alright, so let me take you into a little trip into my mind. I thought the paint would not stop the decomposition, but block out the smell.
Okay.
So
that was one of the theories we had.
yes, block out the smell. You guys were correct.
Okay.
As far as for the paint and egg on the wall and all that shit, mind you, I had poured that stuff on them before I knew that I was not going to be putting them in a hole. So therefore, with the house with my ex-wife, I was trying to trash the house to make it look not focusing on the fact that
Somebody died there.
Yeah, something else might have happened.
That something awful
Yeah.
had happened there.
Yeah.
Okay. And
But like I said, that was done time period before I realized that I could not get them in that hole.
okay. And all the chemicals, did you pour chemicals on all of them or was it just Nick?
Just Nick.
Okay. Was there a reason just Nick?
He was the most foul smelling one. So I was really trying to block out the.
And it looked like, and you tell me if you may not remember, it was like a gallon of bleach, pine sol.
Yeah, all that.
Was that stuff that was in the house, or was that stuff you had to go buy?
No, that was stuff that was already.
Just all household chemicals that you had.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do with the hammer?
Oh, you know what? It's in the house for you guys. It's underneath the bed.
It's in the house that you're in now, underneath the bed.
Oh no, not my house. It's underneath their bed in their house.
Is it underneath Rich's bed?
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the mattress?
Underneath Rich's bed.
Just on the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, let me just... I'm tired too.
Oh, I know.
So, let's see.
I'm actually waking up a little bit.
Getting a second wind?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my fourth.
I know you're saying thank you for being cooperative with you, but thank
No,
you for being cooperative with me.
It's much appreciated because in cases like this, everybody has theories of what happened. My theory is going to be one way, another detective's is going to be another way, and the crime scene technician that's there, they're going to have their theories, and when you get firsthand account of the person that did it, for fact what happened. It's not a guess anymore. It's like, okay, we know exactly what happened. He told us firsthand this is what happened.
And I always told myself if I got caught, that I wasn't going to try a lie or bullshit or anything like that. That was just going to come out clean.
So, what day do you leave the house?
Mm-hmm. I want to say it's a couple days before Christmas. Because I literally got into town Christmas Eve.
You got here Christmas Eve?
Yes. So I want to say probably the day before Christmas Eve because I just drove that whole night.
You didn't stop anywhere except for gas probably?
Yeah, except for gas and to change the diapers and stuff like that.
Do you remember where you stopped for gas? Did you pay cash, credit card?
I always paid cash.
Paid cash?
Yeah.
You didn't take any of their credit cards or checks?
I don't think any of their credit cards. None of their checks though. No.
Did you take cash out of their wallets?
I took cash out of their wallets, yeah. That was used though.
And what about all the guns?
Oh, did the officer? I have one of their guns at the house that I told the officer about.
Okay. There's one in the house that you rent now with
Mm-hmm.
your buddy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many guns were in the house that you took?
How many guns were in?
How many guns were in Rich's house? Because I know the gun cabinet was in the laundry room, correct?
Yeah, it was just the one.
There was only one gun?
Yeah, but Nick had that big ass thing, that big ass gun in his room.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys even bothered to open it or see it. But yeah, those were the only guns I saw in there. Was the little revolver that I took, and then that big ass gun that Nick had.
Okay. But the only gun that you took from the house and brought with you, or
Was the revolver.
revolver, and you're still in possession of it at your house.
Yes.
You didn't take any other guns and sell them, trade them, pawn them.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay. What about all the jewelry that Laura had?
Took all the jewelry. All of it's gone for the most part.
Where was the jewelry located in the house?
It was kind of like spread out, to be honest with you.
Okay. Was it all in those little white boxes that I saw on the kitchen floor?
There were white boxes, there were brown boxes, but yes.
So you just took what was out of them and left those boxes scattered around?
No, there was like.
Or you left some of them?
I left some of them. There was like a whole tub, like full of jewelry and stuff.
How did you decide? Just whatever looked expensive?
No, they had the price tags in there.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just like weeded through them and whatever was the most expensive, that's what you took?
Yeah. Like there was shit that was like $8,000 and all that stuff. But yeah, there is still some left in the car.
In the Kia?
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of the Kia, that was one of my next questions. What was your thinking when you decided to leave the Hyundai at the clubhouse and take their Kia?
I know that I'm not 100% finished telling my story.
Okay. You tell. Go. Like I told you, I'll stay here all night.
But my original thing is like I was planning on going back down there and like finishing burying and everything. I was going by myself like a couple of months by paying for their rent. I like called up and I was going to make the money in order and everything.
Who did you call?
It was the Meadows. I was finding out how much the rent was and everything, and this was like literally right before you discovered them, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do that, and I was going to stay up in Ohio and bulk up a little bit, and then go down and bury them and move them.
Bulk up, you mean like muscle?
Yeah.
So you could carry Rich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not even, I know that sounds, but not even that, to give the bodies more time to decompose, to get them lighter and everything too.
Right.
But that didn't work out, obviously.
Right. So your plan was, but I'm trying to figure out where the car fits in. If you're
I took the car because the tags on the other car, on Jamie's car, are expired.
Gotcha.
Damn.
Okay, and you didn't want to draw attention yourself driving a car with expired tags?
Yes.
Okay.
On top of it, I don't have my license. It got taken away when I was like 19 for unpaid fines, and I just never paid it back.
Okay, so you don't have a license, you don't want to be driving a car with expired tags, you get pulled over, then you don't have any license, then you're going to get arrested.
Yep.
Okay.
When instead I could drive a car that has good tags and do the speed limit and not even get noticed.
Okay. All right, let's see. So you said didn't take, when you left here to go to Ohio, how did you get there? Like what route did you take? Did you go up 75?
Yeah,
or?
no, it was 77. I think it was 77 north. Or is it 75 north?
75 you go like towards, I think, Toledo. The other one you go through towards the Carolinas and then that way up.
I went the one that was towards the Carolinas.
So you go towards like Jacksonville and then up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many stops did you make?
I stopped
couple
like,
for gas.
not even that. I stopped like every 2 to 3 hours to change the kids. Because, when you're doing a road trip like that, you kind of got to stop so they can stretch the legs.
And you don't want them sitting in dirty diapers.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm sure stop for food every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you could say, let's just say 10 times,
But you drove straight through, you didn't stop at any hotels or anything? You had to be exhausted.
Oh, God.
Because I have family that lives in Michigan, and I drove straight through one time, and it was a little,
hell.
not much longer, but a little bit longer, and I think I slept for 2 days afterwards, so I'm sure but you probably couldn't do that because you have 2 small kids.
Yeah.
Right? So you probably got a little bit of sleep, and then you're back up and running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you already have your living arrangements made up here before you got up here?
Mm-hmm.
And how did that come about?
I basically told him I was moving up there, and he's like, do you want to go in on a house? And I said, yeah. And that's what we did.
And how did you know that guy?
I worked with him and I went to school with him.
I know you said you smoke a little weed, but any other heavier drugs?
Dude.
No? Don't have any drug addictions, no like alcoholism,
No, I don't even touch alcohol.
nothing like that.
Honestly, I just smoke weed to help my PTSD.
And you said, is there other PTSD or just the cold weather thing?
The cold thing, definitely with women for a little bit there, and then I got over that, because I like vagina. Definitely always had an irrational fear of getting kicked out after being homeless. Always had that fear. Honestly, I think that's why I stayed with my wife for so long and tolerated her shit, was because I was afraid of being alone out in the world.
Well, that you got kids.
Yeah.
People do. I mean, we're in this situation because of something in your mind that you did for your children, right?
Yeah.
People sometimes do things they normally wouldn't do. I mean, now that you're sitting here now, what do you think about this whole situation?
Dude, if I could do it all over again, I would have just left my wife way back when and told the doctors the truth. You know, and you could look her up, you know, I'm not lying about her. You know, I know there's still a record on her, because I've looked it up. And just to see, she attacked her parents, like in October of 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and then her parents dropped the case. And that was the type of woman I was married to. I just told the doctors the truth and left her, and honestly, I probably could have gotten a case to where I could have raised the kids by myself, just due to her mental stability, but
Well, you're not going to dispute, and I don't think you have an argument. You might have about it the wrong way.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah. Between her and then this incident, I mean,
Yeah, no,
we made a lot of bad choices.
Oh yeah, I'm not excusing my
Yeah.
behavior at all.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm not. These were great people, you know. And even her, she was great too. There was just a side of her that she just couldn't control. But yeah, bad decisions. To be honest with you, I don't know if I'm psychotic or not. I really don't. So I think that's something that. Well, I mean, don't you guys always psychologically evaluate people before trial and?
Down the road, you would be, yes. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a plain old detective that talks to people, you know, and tries to figure out crime and do the best I can, and you know, talk with people. And
I hope I made your job easier. Well, I know I did, because I could have been sitting here lying blue in the face. I could have been like, I'm not talking to you until I have an attorney in front of me, even though you just got off a plane.
that could have happened. You know, that was one of the things I had to prepare for. It could have, you know, and I was prepared for that. But I it's my job. You know, it's just, I'm sure you watch TV, like, you know, you got to stay up and get it done.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
Just like with kids.
yeah, I mean, just like if somebody did this to your family, you would want me to stay up for 5 days straight and fly to Alaska if I had to find
Of course.
your kids' killers, right?
Of course.
You know, and that's the same. I do the same thing for every family, whether it be your family or their family, because their family wants answers. Their family deserves answers.
Of course.
You know, and Jamie's family unfortunately won't get those answers because they're also gone now too. Have you ever thought about like what you would say to Jamie, like if she was still alive? You ever thought about like, man, I would tell her this or I would tell her that, or
Like, as far as her parents?
no,
goes, as far
both.
as-
I mean, like with regards to her or with regards to her parents.
Honestly, I think about her all the time.
What do you think?
For a long time, I focused on the bad because I just wanted to hate her. Because I think I was very confused at first. But then over time, I just hung on to the good memories because that's the only way I can honor her now. You know, she's not here. So all I can do is
Like when you close your eyes at night, do you think about her, or do you see that night over and over again in your mind? Like as you say, PTSD, you would think like a traumatic incident. When you kill her, do you ever like replay that in your mind? Because I know with me, I lay in bed at night, my mind goes boom, 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 and I can replay things over and over and over again, and I can't imagine something like that in your brain.
At first, it definitely did happen, but I learned. It's weird, but I kind of learned to block out the memory altogether. Like I know it happened, but just sitting there not thinking about something for so long, shit starts getting hazy and everything.
Right. But I'm sure you see her face when you look at her. When you look at your kids, they're her kids also. I'm sure when you look at your little girl or your little boy, you see her in them, and it's gonna instantly bring you back to that horrible night, right? I would imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't ever want to put words in your mouth. So if you don't agree, tell me. Like, no, that doesn't happen. Whatever.
It's it's hit or miss at this point. Like I said, the beginning was very hard. At this point, I think for my coping mechanism, I think of all the good times we've had. I think of all the times I've taken her out on dates, that we cuddled, that we just sat there watching movies, and
right, the good stuff.
I just try to focus on that because that's who that woman was at the end of the day. She just had a side of her that she couldn't control. And if you're wondering if I hate myself every day for these horrendous acts I committed, it's obvious I do hate myself. I mean, if I didn't hate myself, I would be sitting here trying to lie to you to get myself out of this situation.
Well,
like I would with any other situation. But
like we discussed before, I mean, you just made some horrible choices. I mean, in your mind, I think you built it up to where those are the only choices you could make. That doesn't make you a monster. A monster is when you do something, like if you just snuck into their house, killed them for absolutely no reason, no remorse, I just did it because I wanted to. You'd be a monster. But in this case, you thought this was, like I said, based on what you're telling me, I have to do this to keep my kids. You said yourself, I'm driving to Florida and I'm thinking to myself, I have to kill these people. Yeah. I mean, you get a hammer, you laid and you waited for them, and you took them out. You knew when you had that opportunity, because you've got Nick at work, she's at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. There's going to be time in between each one, so you got one-on-one. You take him out, you wait for her, she comes in, bam, you got her. Because what are you going to do? You can't go after all three of them at the same time, right? Because what's going to happen?
Yeah, they're going to fight back. And then...
Exactly. So, I mean, you saw the moment, you seized it. It's so. All right.
For what it's worth, like I said, I did try to, when I was on my way down there, my intention was to kill them, and then I got there, and I didn't want to kill them, and I looked for every excuse and every opportunity, and I was so close.
Oh, so the date you left, was it the 22nd or the 23rd?
I believe the 22nd.
22nd, so because it took you what?
Till it was like 12 in the afternoon when I finally met up with my friend up in Ohio.
On the
Christmas
24th?
Eve, yeah.
Okay, so you left on the 22nd about what time?
Oh, it was like the first thing in the morning.
Before sun came up?
Okay, maybe not first thing. I want to say
what was the sun up or
10?
down?
No,
So
it was
the sun was up.
Yeah, it was like 8 to 10 in the morning.
Okay. All right. And what was I going to ask? I had something on the tip of my tongue and I totally forgot.
Jesus Christ! Before I forget, there's a shit ton of evidence in that car.
Okay, go ahead and write it down. And you said. Go ahead. Can I ask you a question while you're writing?
Please.
I don't want to disrupt your chain of thought, but you said before the dogs. At what point do you kill the dogs? You said it was like right before you left the house.
So, the dog that was by the woman, or by Laura, he died on his own, basically.
Starving?
No. He had diabetes, and I didn't know how to,
do the
administer that that stuff.
Okay,
So,
is that one of the ones because there was one dog in a garbage bag, another dog in a garbage bag, and there was one in a rug.
this is the one on the rug.
The one in the rug died on his own because you didn't give him his insulin.
Well, he didn't he was dying.
Okay.
And then I put him out of his misery.
How did you do that?
I just whacked him once with the side of the hammer, and he instantly died.
Okay.
I knew that he would die instantly, being that he was a small breed and everything.
Okay.
As far as the other dogs go, they got put in the bag the last night, and they suffocated and everything.
Okay, so you didn't hit him with the hammer, you just tied the bag shut and suffocated him. Okay. Because I examined the dogs. I mean, I couldn't see any like obvious damage. So that was one of my theories, was that they suffocated. The only thing was, the bags are dark, and I would assume the dog would have tried to scratch their way out, but I guess they didn't. So, or I just didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So, and you did that like right before you left? Was it like that morning or the day before?
It was the night before.
Night before.
Yeah.
So.
So I knew they were gone before I left.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that sounds dark, killing the dogs. The reason I did that, 2 kids, kind of a full house, try going to like an animal shelter with 2 kids and 2 dogs and everything. Not impossible, but then the thought hit me of, if these dogs have those trackers in them, they're just gonna go back to the house, and then, So.
Okay. All right, and you said there's a bunch of stuff in the
Yeah,
car.
I'm
Sorry. And then you're talking about the car at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. Stuff that you took from the house.
Bag evidence, basically, like a bloody pillow, all that type of stuff.
Okay.
Like all their paperwork and stuff like that.
Okay. All right, while you're writing that, I'm gonna step up for just a quick second, okay?
Okay. I was gonna ask where I was like, you were recording off your phone. I was like, where the hell is the recorder?
Yeah. Got my old man glasses, my little recorder. I'll be right back. I'll let you keep working on it. I'll be right back,
Do you
okay?
care if I go pee again real quick?
Yeah, definitely. Take another resting break. I might have to take one here in a minute also.
Yeah, that Red Bull will go through your bladder like
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, actually, it dehydrates me. I need some water. All right, we're almost done, bud. You were starting on, you said there's evidence in the car?
I just put down 2010 and long trip bag evidence. There's a bunch of, I can't even remember everything in the bags.
Do you remember anything that's in it?
I know there's like all their like paperwork type stuff. Like
Paperwork from their house?
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
Like in their rooms and everything.
In the room?
Yeah.
Did you go through all of it? I'm gonna imagine you went through everything, right?
Yeah, this was at the point where I still planned on digging the hole and burying them right there. So this was when I'm like going through the house, bagging everything up. I was going to put it in the car, and I was going to go dump it out, but I said, I don't know.
When, I don't know if I asked you this before, but so the plan is you're gonna bury all 3 of them in this big hole, right? At what point do you say, there's no way I can do this because Rich was so big?
Yeah, Rich was too heavy at that point.
Okay.
I feel like all the dead weight from being, from decomposing still in the early stages made him heavier. I could not even barely move him. I don't know how the hell you guys got him out there.
It took a lot.
I couldn't get him out there.
Yeah. So, so you just like kind of, if this isn't gonna happen, I need to think of something else.
Yeah. And so I came up with a scheme where I was going to stay in Ohio for like a month or 2 and bulk up and wait for the bodies to decompose a little more, and then pay their rent, and then come down, get them buried, trash the house, and not have to worry about shit.
Did you have a plan as to like what time of day or night you were going to try to get them out of the house into that hole? Because
Yeah, that was going to be midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah,
Okay.
Midnight to 1 a.m.
You were there for what? Just a couple weeks, right?
When
total.
they were dead?
No.
Oh,
in total.
In total.
From the time you got there and they're alive, and then you kill them, and you stay in the house with your kids. Because you stayed in the house with the kids until about 6 days.
Yeah.
Right around there, correct? With them deceased in the house. Yeah. So, because I went through that neighborhood a lot, and it's an older community, a lot of people, and I don't know if you know anything about older communities. They want to know what everything's going on.
Oh yeah.
So that was actually one of my questions I really wanted to ask you was, what was the plan of how are you going to get them out without anybody seeing you and getting them into the hole?
Oh, okay. So the plan was to have the hole dug up a couple hours before I put them in there and everything. So I had the hole dug up. Granted, I don't think it was deep enough. It definitely wasn't deep enough. I wanted it deeper, but my paranoia was kind of playing at me because, like you said, I'm very aware of how old people function.
Mm-hmm.
They're very finicky. They need to know what's going on, peeking out their window every 20 minutes type shit. And then, yeah, I was going to put them in there. First, I was going to put the bodies in those tarps, wrap them up in the tarp, tie it with the rope, drag them with the rope, like, while it's, on the tarp and everything, tied up on the tarp, and then put them in that hole.
Okay. And when you speak of the rope, you're talking about the one that was laid out on the living room floor with the loop, like the boating loop, the stuff you bought at Home Depot?
Yeah.
Okay. And, something I just thought of something else. See, I'm getting tired too, and like I have a question in my mind, and then I ask you one question, then I forget the second question.
I do have a question though.
Okay. If I can answer it, I will. I can't promise you.
Yeah. Since I've been so cooperative, I know it's very highly unlikely, but we both know I'm going to Florida after this. That'll be expedited to Florida. Would there be any way I can see my kids for like 15, 20 minutes before I leave? Because this is going to be my last time before I see them before they're adults.
Correct. I doubt it. There's no way I could say that you could. What I can do for you is, if you would like, I can give you this. You can keep this same notebook and piece of paper, and you can write them a letter. Do you want to do that?
Yeah. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
It's the only piece of paper I left. Can you do it on 3 pieces of paper?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. You want me to give you some time alone so you can write it?
No, because I don't even know what don't worry about it. I got money on my books. I came in here with $1,300 something. I plan on saving it and using it on hygiene and letter shit. So I'll just eventually send something to my mom to give to them.
But okay, let me. How much money did you get from pawning all the jewelry?
This is my own money. This wasn't from the pawn. What I got from that was, I would say, relatively $3,000 to $4,000.
3,000 to 4,000 from all the different pawn shops.
Yeah.
And was it pawn shops in Florida?
Yeah, there was some in Florida.
Some in Florida, and the rest were up here.
Yes.
Or did you stop anywhere en route to Ohio?
No.
Any other pawn shops?
No, just here in Ohio.
So, in Florida, because you're in Ohio now.
Yeah.
In Florida, you pawned them.
Sorry.
By yourself with the kids, right? You come to Ohio, and is that where you get Caitlin to pawn them for you, or you pawn them with Caitlin? I don't remember.
I pawned them.
But Caitlin's with you.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you get that money that you have on you when you were arrested? Like you said, it was your money.
Yes. Well, like I said, I work in the oil field and everything, so I had some money saved up. I've had relatively $6,000, $6,000 to $7,000 saved up before I went to Florida.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a question I had. Because, obviously if it was monies that you acquired from killing them and then stealing and then pawning, that would be money that would be seized, right? You understand that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's money that you got in a commission of a felony.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, because I'm going to make sure, because what I wanted to do is I didn't want you to think you're going to have this commissary. If it was evidentiary, it's going to get seized, then you're not going to have commissary. I just want to make sure that if you want to write your kids a letter, that you could do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to do it down the road,
I'll do it down the road.
that's fine.
I'm sure I'll have a long ass time before this case is even solved anyway.
Yeah.
Well, not solved, but
Resolved in court is what you're saying.
Which, if you don't mind, now I have a couple of questions for you.
Like I said, I'll answer anything I can.
So, what's going to happen now? Obviously, I gave you the full story. I'm sure we're going to go over it a couple more times. What's going to happen to me now?
Okay. Well, as you said,
I'll be expedited to Florida.
be extradited.
Extradited.
And then then the court proceedings will begin.
But
And
I've seen, like, I've watched First 48 and all that stuff. Like,
as do I. I watch it all the time. Believe it or not, I do.
I'm sure you do because it's your job and you want to learn or from other people's mistakes. But even when it comes to, like, why is it when it comes to cases like these, like, say I, like, gave you the full story, you guys know everything that happened, is it still going to take us some years for this stuff to get resolved in court?
That will depend on you. A lot of that depends on you, and if down the road you get an attorney, it all depends. I mean, if I can't, like I said, I can't give you legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge.
I'm not looking for legal.
Right. I mean, I can give you like the roundabout ways. Basically, if it all depends on if you plead guilty to everything. It's gonna expedite the process. If you down the road, you're like, what? I don't want to plead guilty, and this goes to trial, then it gets prolonged. It can be years. A case of this magnitude, because we both agree this is a huge case. And not only do we have, you murdered 3 people in Tarpon Springs, you finally came out with the truth that, hey, I murdered my wife in Newport Richie.
Yeah. Well,
so,
I had to tell you guys,
And we appreciate that. And Jamie deserves it. You would agree to that, right? She doesn't deserve to be buried in a backyard. No. Right? I mean, she deserves a proper burial.
Exactly.
Because your kids are going to get older. They need to know what happened to my mom and be able to maybe go to a cemetery plot and, at least pay their respects and know where she is. You agree.
Of course.
And I think that was weighing on you. I mean, I'm sure, that's a lot to hold in for a year. All these big charades you're doing, the phone, and this and that, and just
not to sound like an idiot, but it's almost a relief to be caught. The only thing that sucks is not being a part of my kid's life, obviously.
Right, but I can tell you right now, like I told you, I've been doing this a long time. The amount of weight of what you have on you, in your heart, your head, on your shoulders, however you want to word it, of killing 4 people, to get that out and finally be able to tell somebody is almost like I don't want to say uplifting. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but you feel like the weights are off you, right? Because you're like, oh my God, I finally got this out. I was finally I'm free of it.
Yeah, because I couldn't tell anybody.
Right.
You can't tell people that shit.
Right. I know what I thought.
What?
Cellular phones. Rich and Laura, did they have cellular phones?
Yes.
What happened to the cellular phones?
I forget what happened to Rich's. Hers, I kept a hold of. I even texted their family here and there because they were getting worried. I was trying to do that whole bullshit again. And then I got rid of them this morning. To be honest with you, I saw that I was caught on the news and everything.
So, you saw it on the news?
Yeah. Well, not on our news up here,
mm-hmm.
but I looked it up because I think I got paranoia to some extension. Then again, I committed murder, so of course I'm going to be paranoid about shit. But yeah, all I did was type in 3 deaths in Tarpon Springs, and then 3 dead, 3 dogs dead, and I was like, yep, time to get rid of the phones.
Okay. Where did you get rid of them?
I just threw them on the road, off of West 117th.
West 117th. I've never been to Ohio other than driving through my way to Michigan. Okay. Do you remember, if I brought a detective in that is familiar with this area, would you be able to tell them where you threw them out?
Yeah, it's literally right off of Madison and 117th.
Madison and 117th.
I don't know if you'll be able to find it, though, because that was yesterday morning.
Do you remember what kind of phones they are?
One smartphone.
Droid or Apple?
Droid.
One smartphone, Droid?
Yeah.
And whose was that?
That was hers. She had 2 phones.
She had 2, okay.
And then just one of those old school, not flip phones, but what came after the flip phones, those keypad phone things.
Okay, and that was his?
That was hers, too. Like I said, I don't remember what happened to his. I think I got rid of it
Who are you texting people on? Which phone? Do you remember?
The keypad phone.
Keypad phone. This is the one you were texting family. Do you remember? I know you may not remember, and I'm just.
No,
I told you who you were texting. Do you know what family member it was?
Yes.
Who was it?
Here, I can write it down.
Okay.
Catherine is Laura's niece. Barb is her sister-in-law. And her actual real.
Okay, you just write it underneath it there.
Sorry, I should.
What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna bring in one of the detectives momentarily, just so you can describe the area of where you think you threw the phones out. Because obviously we would like to recover them if we can.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So if you want to describe.
So West 117th and Madison, you're familiar with the area?
Yeah, we got Joe's Deli up there. You got
Basically, right where that bridge is at, right underneath the bridge is where I threw the phones.
by the rapids there. There's that
I'm
big
still
bridge.
not really familiar with the super area.
But there's the
it's
only
right
bridge over there.
Yeah, it's right before that Home Depot.
Okay. So right by the bridges on 117.
Yes.
You think they were landed in the street?
Yeah, I threw them in the street.
Yeah, because that when you're going down, it goes down. So you got walls on both sides.
Yeah.
Because it goes down, kind of past the ground level.
Mm-hmm.
And you got these big, huge walls that are on each side, and then there's a walkway on each side, so the
Yeah,
people
that's
can
where
walk.
that's exactly.
So where
right.
they hit the street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I know. The gloves. There was like an orange gloves that were in the living room. There was a pair of gloves. There was one on the floor and one on a table.
I might have just used it to put on while I was cleaning stuff up. To be honest with you.
And then the duct tape. What was the Gorilla Tape? The big black roll of Gorilla Tape.
To roll up the tarps with.
That's what you're going to use for the tarps. Okay.
So just the 3 phones that I might find out there?
Two.
Yeah.
One smartphone Droid and one keypad phone. We don't know what the brand.
Well, like a flip phone?
Kind of like a flip phone, but the generation that came after it.
Anything else
They're,
with
they're
it?
Verizon phones, if that makes it easier too.
I'm sure if we find a couple phones out there. Anything else with it? Nothing, just the 2 phones?
Did you throw them together or one at a time?
One at a time, but like.
So
Boom, and then.
So how fast do you think you're driving? Just so we know how to space it out.
Oh, I was driving like 35.
35, you throw one, and then right after you throw another one, so they're going to be a little bit distance apart.
Today's Thursday.
This was in the morning.
Today.
Yeah.
In the morning today?
Yeah.
So
Well,
they might.
yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday morning?
Yeah.
So they might.
No. I'm sorry. Thursday morning. Thursday.
Okay, so
morning.
this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So they might still be there.
Hopefully, if they didn't get run over or anything.
Okay, well, even if they did, we still want to recover them.
Pieces.
So, okay.
Okay,
All right,
cool.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and last thing is, and the reason I'm going to ask you is because we're at 4, and we're getting everything off of just a blank computer screen. Have you?
Oh, I thought you meant like 4 a.m.
No, it's 2:55.
I know what you mean by 4 now.
Yeah.
It's like 4.
You've killed 4 people. Admittedly, you killed, you murdered your wife, you murdered Rich, Laura,
Nick.
and Nick. So you've murdered 4 people. Is there any other bodies in any other states?
No.
We've never killed anyone else.
We've never killed.
Never killed anyone in Texas.
Mm-mm.
Never killed anyone
Mm-mm.
in Ohio.
Mm-mm.
So
I
just,
would definitely come out and tell you.
well, I believe you. I mean, you're being upfront and honest, but we're here.
Yeah.
I want to make sure everything gets out. I want to make sure that Shelby has everything out. Shelby is clear conscience. He knows he's told everything. And my last question to you is there anything else that we haven't talked about that I haven't asked you, and I've tried to be as detailed as possible, that you think I need to know about this case, or that Newport Richey Police or the Pasco Sheriff, do you know who covered that area? Was it a sheriff? Did you ever have the police come to your house when you lived on Norwood, where you killed Jamie at? Did you ever have the police come to your house?
Mm-mm.
Okay, do you know offhand? We'll find out. Do you know, like, if you would have called the police, was it Newport Richey Police that would have responded, or the sheriff that would have responded?
It would have been Newport Richey.
Because I don't know where is Norwood.
Norwood.
I know where Gulf High School is. I know where downtown is.
It is literally 15 minutes away from that Walmart by that mall. Off
Do
of.
you like remember a crossroad off in Norwood? Like how to get there? If you don't, I know it's been a while.
What's that main highway? Is that 52?
US 19,
US 19?
54, Main Street.
It's off of US 19. I can tell you that.
Norwood
It's
Avenue.
where that it'll be off the street where that big Wells Fargo is at. You know, that big huge one on 19. That's kind of by that strip mall.
Okay.
And everything.
We'll find it.
Okay. As for the exact house, I forget the number.
Okay. Well, there, and you're most likely going to be approached by a Newport Richey detective or Pasco, depending on if it's theirs, or Pasco Sheriff's Office detective in relation to Jamie, your wife, because that didn't occur in Tarpon Springs. That's not going to be my case. Okay. You're most likely going to have the visitor from one of them. Obviously, I'm going to notate everything you're telling me about it in my report to give to them in reference to recovering her. Is there anything else about that incident that you want to tell me now that you think they should know that I can pass on to them about what occurred? I just, this is your time. Like I told you, I'll stay here all night. We can talk all night. I want to make sure that Shelby has a chance to tell everything he wants to tell about everything involved.
I mean, I've basically told everything that I wanted to tell.
Okay.
You know, I've made my,
Major piece.
You know that I didn't do this because I wanted to be evil and I wanted to kill people. I did it because I felt that I had no choice at that time period. You also know my wife was very abusive, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And like I said, please feel free to look into her record and you can see all the police calls and all that shit. You'll see that. But
Okay. And like I said, I mean, we know you like Domino's pizza. I know that. I saw all the Domino's boxes in the house and on the patio, and is it the kids that love the chicken nuggets, or is that you too?
that's the kids. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because that's just what I had going on at the house before you guys jumped.
Did Daddy, we want chicken? Oh, does your daughter talk? A little bit. And obviously your son's too young to talk, right?
Yeah.
Is he walking?
He's walking, yeah.
Is he?
I feel bad for them though. I really do, because.
Well, I feel bad for them also. I mean, their mother's gone, and for all intents and purposes, now their dad's gone because of what, unfortunately, is bad decisions. You know, you're giving them a rough start.
I know.
But you said that your mom's a good mom, right?
She is.
And
she'll do a wonderful job.
So
with them.
you have that. At least you know, hey, they're with my mom. My mom's a good mom.
It just sucks because I'm literally their world. Like,
Shelby, I'll tell you right now, I have a son. I can't fathom it. I can't. Based on what you're telling me, and I don't know you. You could be, I don't think you would, but you could be blowing smoke up my butt. I don't think you are. I think you're being completely honest. You've been nothing but forthright. You have no reason to not. From everything you said, those kids are your world. All of this stuff revolves around what? Your love of your kids, right? Can't imagine. I have one child. Can't imagine. What you're going through and what was going through your mind. I just can't do it.
it just sucks, laying in that bed. And I used to cuddle with them all the time because, after her, I didn't really like cuddling or sleeping with women, but my kids, man, I loved cuddling with them. Oliver, he just loves just coming over and sitting on my lap.
Makes your day, right?
Yeah.
I used to tell people all the time, I could have the worst day in the world. When I go home and I see my kids, I forget about everything. Is that how you are, kind of?
It definitely helped me out with this year.
Yeah.
And I think somewhere in my head, I always knew I was going to get caught. To be honest with you, I was like, I've always been ready for this moment. That's why I've always told myself, if they catch me, there's no point in lying. Just be honest, honor these people, because
Alright, well, we're gonna finish up. The only other question I have, and another detective that came up with me, mentioned it to me because apparently they thought they had seen a girl with you. Did you ever have a girl at the house that somebody could have possibly thought was Jamie or anything like that in Tarpon Springs?
Oh, no.
It was always just you and the kids. You never had a female over to the house, like never brought a date home or anything like that.
No,
I mean,
the only thing I can think of is when I bought weed off of somebody off Meet Me, but she didn't come in or any, you can't have any, like, people come in the house when you got 3 dead bodies in the house. But she was, like, pulled off on the side of the road, like, way down the way and everything when I picked up weed from her. So I don't know where people were getting, because I saw that on the news too, where where someone mentioned that son-in-law, grandkids, and daughter had come down to visit. In my head, I'm like, she definitely wasn't there.
and you never. You said you texted with Laura's phone. You never called with Rich's phone and talked to anybody, and pretended to be him or anything like that.
I couldn't unlock the phone.
Or you couldn't unlock Rich's phone. Okay, but you never called anybody on any phone pretending to be Rich. It was only pretending to be Laura through text messages.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go just make sure that we have no other questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Sound good?
Can you keep this?
I will ask them. I can't make any decisions. This isn't my police department. I'm a guest. Okay?
Please tell them I have PTSD with cold.
I will tell them. Okay? The only issue is safety factors. If you're not suicidal or anything like that. You don't want to hurt yourself. Okay? Because that's usually the main reason they don't want to give blankets, especially in jails. Okay? I will ask them. Can't guarantee anything. Okay? But I'll see what they say. I'll be right back. All right, Shelby, we're done. All right, come on out. I'm gonna walk you out.
Okay.
Hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you manning up. I really do.
I am sorry. I know it's not worth jack shit. It's really not. But I didn't want it to like this, and I am sorry. Yeah. And they were all good people. They really were.
Yeah. Like I said, you just made some horrible choices. That we can't, and unfortunately we can't undo it. We can't come back from them. Yeah. But for what it's worth, in my opinion, this is just solely my opinion, you're gonna help people get closure as to what happened. And in my book, and this is just my opinion, it goes a long way. I mean, you're manning up for some horrible stuff. I mean, you said it yourself. I know it's horrible. You said yourself, they didn't deserve it, but things happen. You can't take it back. Like you said, you can't take it back. So, all right, I'm gonna walk you out, okay?
Shelby's confession was chilling. With a disturbing lack of emotion, he recounted how he deceived his deceased wife's family, pretending she was still alive to keep their suspicions at bay. When they began to grow suspicious, Shelby made a sinister decision. He went to their home and brutally murdered all 3 with a hammer. Following his arrest, Shelby was extradited to Florida, where he faced charges of capital first-degree murder for the deaths of Richard, Laura, Nicholas Ivancic, and his wife Jamie. He was also charged with 3 counts of aggravated animal cruelty for killing the family's 3 dogs. In December 2023, Shelby Nealy, then 30 years old, pleaded guilty to the murder of his wife, Jamie Ivancic, admitting to killing her and burying her at their Newport Richey home in 2018. The first-degree murder charge was reduced to manslaughter with a weapon, for which he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He also received an additional 5 years in prison for each dog's death, with those sentences running concurrently with the 30-year sentence. Nealy also pleaded guilty to the murders of Richard, Laura, and Nicholas Ivancic. The sentencing for these 3 crimes will be determined during the penalty phase of his trial, scheduled for October 14th, 2024.